Hello everyone, Trevor and Nick here from Measured, talking insights and observations from the field. Stating the obvious, we are living in unprecedented times. The impacts of COVID-19 have been wide-ranging and across sectors. Nick has some great insights we want to share. Nick, today is July 24th. You wrote an article in May highlighting how D2C brands within the fashion category were capitalizing on the push towards e-commerce and seeing outstanding results. What's the update?
That's right, Trevor. The fashion category is actually a really interesting case study because you have brands ranging from 100% of their sales in the online channel to those that are heavily concentrated in retail, as much as 95% plus coming from that channel. So when COVID-19 hit in mid-March and retail stores were forced to close, you actually saw a lot of marketers and brands that were heavily focused in retail pull back on marketing. The logic being, I'm going to keep my powder dry for when I have a major sales channel back open for me. Meanwhile, brands that were more focused on e-com were much more likely, whether out of seeing a clear opportunity or frankly out of desperation, to push in on marketing and promotions. The really interesting thing is that regardless of retail exposure, those brands that pushed in on marketing and promotions saw e-com sales do very well. Many were up 50, 100+% year on year. Meanwhile, those that had pulled back on marketing, even if it was out of an abundance of caution due to the closing of a major sales channel, saw their online sales lag as well.
Very interesting, Nick. Tell us how the story evolved in June and now into July.
Well, e-commerce demand has remained strong across the board. Eventually, most brands realized this and got back in the game with marketing and promotions. So what we're left with is a pervasive promotional environment where any consumer can probably find 2 or 3 brands that they like offering a great discount at any given time, maybe as much as 50% plus. It's really unlike anything I've ever seen before in the fashion category. I would liken it to a Black Friday, Cyber Monday type atmosphere, except it's been going on for 3 months and counting. So what's that mean for marketers? Well, if you take Facebook prospecting for an example, when you get the offer right, when you get it out there in front of customers, you'll know it's resonating. I mean, I see conversion rates triple in a single day based on putting out an offer, and I see it go in the other direction, when the offer's pulled or when it's no longer available. Meanwhile, bottom of the funnel things like retargeting that are typically meant to prevent leakage have shown incrementality drop by as much as 50% post-COVID, because you don't need to prevent leakage when, great deals are essentially doing it for you. So my message to marketers would be, get the offer right, get it out there. When it's resonating with your customers, you'll know it, and then put all of your dollars into driving people on site, and then let the deals and the promotions drive site conversion once you get people there.
Very interesting, Nick. Can you share more insights from June, specifically how store reopenings are affecting e-commerce demand?
Yeah, retailers were optimistic in early June when they opened stores and saw some positive results. But overall, if you compare June calendar sales in the retail channel year on year, the brands that we work with are down anywhere from 28 to 69% year on year, with the average being down about 49%. Meanwhile, the e-commerce channel, as mentioned, has a bit more variation. We work with a couple brands that are down 10, 15% year on year. We work with a couple brands that are up 100% plus year on year. But on average, demand in the e-commerce channel is up 64% year on year for the brands that we work with. I'd also mention that site conversion rates are up anywhere from 50 to 90 basis points compared with February pre-COVID conversion rates. Now, unfortunately, due to the developing COVID situation and due to a number of large populous states having to roll back reopening very recently, we would expect that softness in the retail channel and continued strong demand in e-commerce is going to be there for the foreseeable future.
Great insights, Nick. What do you recommend? What are the key takeaways here for marketers?
E-commerce is still the clear opportunity. Brands that are taking the initiative and looking to grow the online sales channel are generally performing very strong. Marketing is really dynamic in this environment. We mentioned that prospecting performance is very heavily with offer and promotion. Customer marketing is going to vary heavily not only with offer, but your recent new customer mix. Meanwhile, as mentioned, retargeting incrementality is down as much as 50% with so much promotions going on. That being said, marketing is working when you get the messaging, when you get the offer right. I would suggest that you take the opportunity to test into new marketing channels. Optimize the efficiency of your core marketing channels via incrementality testing, scale testing, and creative testing. The last thing I'd say is that one-time lift studies, even if you just did them a couple months ago, may no longer hold in this environment. What's more, those lift studies tend to not capture the week-to-week volatility that is driven by constantly changing promotional offers and competitive aspects. I will strongly suggest that if you are not leveraging an always-on testing mentality in this environment, you are absolutely moving slower than your competition.
Thank you, Nick. One key takeaway: the realities of today call for speed and agility. Ongoing experimentation to inform media incrementality is critical to staying ahead of this rapidly changing environment. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful.